Alright, today's video is going to be a performance review of the Air Jordan 36s.
Gotta have the B-roll pans.
What are those?
Jordan 36s.
So back in October of 2021, I did an unboxing video of the Air Jordan 36s. And now, after playing in them for about 7 months, I have a very good idea of how I like the shoe. And yeah, different aspects of it that I don't like as well. So the main things I want to cover are the fit of the shoe, the traction of the shoe, and the cushioning of the shoe. And then I'll also touch on other aspects that I do like and I don't like. Yeah, but currently the premier athletes in the NBA who wear the 36s are Luka Doncic before he got his own shoe, and now currently Jason Tatum, who is going to the NBA Finals playing against the Warriors. Go Dubs. But yeah, those are the main athletes, at least the premier ones, who wear the 36s. So back in 2021, back when like things were opening up, I decided to cop the 35s. This was a big miss, and I was very disappointed in these. I actually never wear these anymore, so I was just really bummed out that I didn't get the 34s. So I got the 35s, and I hate them. And now the 36s. These have been my favorite shoe to play in recently. So the type of play I do, I jump a lot of plyometrics. I don't really play pickup too much, but I do like to shoot around. So a lot of cutting, traction setup I like to have court feel with minimal, a minimal cushion setup. So for me, I love Zoom Air. And then yeah, as far as volleyball, I also play a lot of volleyball. That's where most of my play has been for the shoe, is volleyball. So lately I've been playing a lot of outside hitter. If I'm not playing outside, then I'm pretty much playing libero. So this shoe has been great for playing outside. A lot of cuts, a lot of movements, a lot of jumping, landing. But yeah, so far this is my go-to shoe. I've been rotating between like the Air Jordan 29s, Kobe Pro 5s, PG1s, and I find myself always going back to the 36s. So yeah, let's get into it. First, the fit. So the fit of the shoe, it's kind of narrow. It kind of reminds me of the KD series. So if you're looking at the top down, this is a pretty narrow shoe. So if you have narrow feet, then this is perfect. For me, I would say I have kind of normal feet, but there is a little bit more room in the toe box in the forefoot area. So my recommendation is true to size, but if you're a wide footer, then maybe go up half a size. But as always, it's best if you can try them on in store, so you can get a good feel for them. But so far, I like the fit. My foot is not moving too much within the shoe, so no blisters, nothing like that. Breaking time is pretty minimal after like 1 or 2 wears. These feel pretty good, and my feet didn't really hurt after the first wear. So as far as breaking time, it's great. But yeah, I would say true to size. Unless you're a wide footer, then consider going up half a size. And it does get a little bit more roomy in the toe box area. So if anything, there's more room here. And I've had a decent amount of time playing with them with the original insoles, but lately I've been using the Game Day Pros, which you can't really see, but the original insole in these is pretty thin, so any type of other insole that you're going to put afterwards is probably going to make the shoe noticeably tighter. So that's one thing I would keep in mind. But as far as fit, I like the fit. I don't feel like I'm moving around, and no blisters. So far the fit has been great. Lockdown has been great. I do not really like the lacing system. So there is like this little area on top of the shoe where it causes it to, as far as like lacing and tightening your laces, it takes a little bit longer to actually do that because this little piece on top kind of gets in the way. So that got a little bit annoying, but other than that, I really like the fit, and yeah, that's my thoughts there. All right, moving on to traction. So as far as traction, we have like multi-directional herringbone. Since in this first light colorway, this is kind of like an opaque, translucent, I wouldn't call it solid rubber. It's more on the translucent side for the outsole, but Usually on the translucent rubber compound, it's gonna be hit or miss as far as the traction, but this traction setup worked great. I think Herringbone is still one of the best, like, reliable traction setups that you can have, other than, of course, the Kobe 9. But so far, traction has been great. Like, dirty courts, I play on hardwood, I play on sport court, which is kind of like this plasticky type of material that a lot of volleyball courts are made of. Both scenarios, traction is great. It does picks up dust over time, but a couple wipes and you're good to go for a decent amount of time. So I really like the traction. Even at times when I was playing in my volleyball leagues, there was a little bit too much traction where I almost tweaked my ankle just going for a block. So that's one thing to keep in mind, but traction has been great and no complaints there. Yeah, good job, Jordan Brand. And lastly, as far as my favorite part of the shoe is definitely the traction setup. Like I said, my favorite traction of all time is Zoom Air. A lot of the Kobe's have Zoom Air in it, and I talked to my brother a lot about shoes coming out, and the first question we always ask is,
Does it have full-length zoom?
And in this case, it does. So there is a full-length Strobel unit across, and it is double stacked in the forefoot. So there's an additional zoom bag in the forefoot on top of the forefoot. I can't even talk. On top of the full-length Strobel unit. So full-length zoom, double stacked in the forefoot, which is my ideal setup. Actually, I love this cushion setup. Like, this might be my favorite cushion setup of all time. I really like the Why Not 0.1s that had full-length zoom as well, but it wasn't double stacked in the forefoot. So doing a lot of jumping for volleyball, as well as just my normal plyometrics and jump training, you land on the balls of your foot a lot. So this felt great for jumping and landing because you have extra cushioning in the forefoot area, but I don't think it sacrificed court feel too much, even though there's two zoom bags on the forefoot. Because for me, I still like having court feel, which is why I don't really like LeBron's, or I haven't really tried LeBron's, because Air is a bigger bag than Zoom Air is. So even with the setup, two zoom bags in the forefoot, I still don't feel like it sacrificed court feel too much. Which, if like you're making quick movements or lateral movements a lot, court feel is very important to how you play, whether that's in volleyball or basketball. So so far, like, they killed it with this cushion setup. So I really like what they did here. Looking forward to more shoes that have it in the future. That's something that I'll be looking for. Like, is it full length zoom? Is it double stacked in the forefoot? And if it is, that's great. All right, some other things that I want to touch on. The design. These look like a pretty sleek shoe in general, as far as like how the design looks. They don't look bulky. They look very sleek, very modern. So aesthetically, I think the design of the shoe actually looks really nice. As far as the colorways have been not bad. Nothing too crazy. Nothing where I'm like, oh, I gotta get that colorway. But I'm not mad at the colorways that they have come out with so far. Of course, players get their PEs, which look pretty appealing. I know Jason Tatum had a collab with Cool Mac, and they had like a Boba-inspired Celtics colorway, which is pretty cool. But yeah, aesthetically, I think they look great. I think that's always something that you kind of consider when you're buying new shoes. Like, how does it look? And I think these look great. So the price point, these retail for $185, which is on the higher end of basketball shoes, but at least for the price tag, they did include like tech, as far as full-length Strobel unit, double stack in the forefoot. This upper is actually really pliable and really breathable. Like, if you wear socks, you're gonna be able to see what color socks you're wearing from the top. And the shoe is really light. And yeah, really light. You don't really notice these when you're playing in them. One thing that that was noticeable was that this zoom bag in the forefoot, it does protrude a little bit. And if you don't really notice it too much when you're playing, but a couple of times the forefoot felt a little wobbly because it doesn't sit flat. And that's mainly like when you're more stationary. But other than that, you don't really feel it too much because this does compress. But just something I wanted to point out. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the Air Jordan 36. I really like them. So I know the lows recently came out. They usually drop a few months later after the highs come out. But for some reason, these took a while for the lows to drop. Those retail for $165. I don't see them playing any differently than the highs, to be honest. Primarily, I do prefer lows, but I did want to get my hands on these earlier rather than later. Main question, should you buy a pair of the Air Jordan 36s? My vote is yes. Traction is great. The fit is great. The cushioning is awesome. Colorways, not bad. Kind of higher on the price tag, but I think for what you're getting, you get a pretty solid shoe. This has definitely been my favorite shoe to play in as of late. And I continue to go back to them as far as like what shoe should I wear. So hopefully that was helpful for you. If you like it, don't forget to subscribe, like the video. If you have any questions specifically about the 36s, let me know in the comment section. But other than that, thanks for watching and have a good one. See ya.